for this season, and you can see how we are going all the way into the latter parts of the year. 2nd of October is going to be where we host the final round at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, but yeah, it all starts at Donington for tonight with Brands Hatch Indy taking us for round 2. Pro-Am and Am classes. And then we've got a 20-minute race 1, 20-minute race 2, 20-minute race 3. The third race has a reverse grid between 6 and 12 positions, but tonight it's just a reverse grid of 8 for the drivers to cope with. So a lot of drivers on track, but the thinking is hopefully with fewer reverse grids, it should keep it a bit cleaner. And also, this is pretty much the exact same format as BTCC in real life. In BTC real life, it's just a little bit longer races.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, short track layouts as well. There's going to be a lot of variances. I'm just excited. But yeah, I do think it's going to be tricky for the guys. These are, split across 3 races as well. So it's about playing that long game and securing a good position in the 3rd race as well.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be really important that you carry that momentum out. Not just in race 1, and make sure that you keep yourself high up in the order so you have a shot in race 2 and race 3. For the weather for this round, we have got no chance of rain. So before the session, it was looking like a 22% chance of rain. It really could have rained at any point in the event, but instead we've got a 0% chance now once we're into the server. Well, I think it's something that's going to be interesting this season is with the 3 races and with the gap that iRacing builds in between each of the races. We also have a warm-up as well, which adds another 20 minutes. The actual session in iRacing lasts 4-5 hours. So that's a lot of time for rain to come at some point. So it might be a wet race 1, but it could be bone dry for race 3.
Yeah, I've seen this in league events or PESC as well. Exactly what you're saying. Even the jump between qualifying and racing, especially in the heat format, I don't think you get much control on how much time progression and how it affects, because you can't even look that far ahead on the iRacing weather. So yes, it can be really interesting.
Yes, should be fine today, but I wouldn't totally rule it out. It's saying 0% all the way, but it's overcast, and I don't know, maybe something could change on that. So let's have a look at our Donington National Track Guide for today and see how well the drivers are going to be able to cope with this circuit. Because of course we were here recently with GT3 Trophy. And overtaking was at a premium. Obviously, in GT3 Trophy, we've been to circuits like Spa and Co, which are very easy to overtake. This was a much more tight and twisted circuit, and the type of circuit that the drivers are going to have to get used to this season.
Yeah, this was some great racing. I'm not sure. I really don't know the draft mechanics and overtaking mechanics are going to be how different it'll be in the TCR class. I assume they'll be able to door-to-door a lot closer.
This is that's what they want to avoid, at least when it comes to door-to-door racing.
Correct.
Turn 1, that was in race 2. We're going to have a lot of side-by-side battling here, Craner curves into the old hairpin, probably going to be one of the main overtaking spots.
Yeah, I do agree. I think, yeah, I'm just interested to see, because it's a lot slower. I do think the door-to-door racing will be higher. And the track, I think, essentially will feel a little bit wider. GT3s are inherently very understeer, especially in dirty air.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, heading through McLean's and then Coppice, which is such a tricky corner, a little bit blind and all about getting on the power early. And now, of course, we don't use the hairpins. We will do later on in the season, but we've copied exactly what the format is for BTCC. So they are racing at this circuit on Sunday. Here was, and hopefully, the type of finish we're going to get 4 wide coming to the line in the BRSCC Winter Esports Championship. And these Mazda cars, not a million miles away from the touring cars that we have today. So that is the circuits, and there are going to be about 40, 45 drivers taking part in today's race. So it's going to be a very, very busy track. Let's have a look at our picks then. These are our season picks who we think are going to win across the championship. And it's, of course, very competitive. We've got 10 pros. So we haven't got too many pros, but that's just because a few of the drivers are really high iRacing. And then we've got about 15 pro-ams and about 20 ams. For me, I've gone Tom Mail to win the pros. He's the second highest I-rated driver. I was going to go for Dominic Koroshevan, who was fantastic in GT3 Trophy last season, but he's missing this round. And I thought that's not a good sign if I'm going to be pointless after round 1, so I changed it. Jorge Gonzaga, we've seen him in F4 cars, we've seen him in Radicals, and then we've seen him in GT3 cars as well. Really a master of all trades, so we'll see if, or jack of all trades, hopefully he's a master in the TCRs. We'll see how he gets on. And Russ Fowler, driver who we always see around, one of the highest I-rated AM drivers. I think he's a good pick in the AMs.
Yeah, those names seem familiar. My picks, and we didn't know each other's picks, and I didn't go for the highest I rate in any class, but I also went for Tom Mao in Pro. A guy I've met here twice, I believe, at the Sim Centre. Drove with him plenty of times over the 6 years I've been sim racing. Really good driver. So, yeah, he's my pick for the Pro. Rhys Saunders, we finally have a different pick for Pro-Am. Yeah. A strong driver. I was surprised to see him in Pro-Am, so I thought he was an easy pick. And I went for Russ Fowler the same reasons, ironically, you did. I've seen him a lot, very adaptive, very good driver. Again, I was actually trying to not pick the highest I rating in each class, so I'm surprised we ended up with the same picks on 2 out of the 3.
Yeah,
so
we didn't go for the highest I rating in any of them, but we did go for the second highest I rating in the Pro and the AM. So we weren't exactly too out there in terms of picks. I mean, in terms of other people who you think could maybe have a chance, is there anyone else that you're looking out for? I mean, for me, in the AMs, Adam Hedgecock, who's been driving in the predecessor to this series, which was the BSRTC Championship. He was racing in that, I think, 10 years ago. So he's got a lot of experience in these touring cars. So he would be one I would watch out for in the amateurs. Yeah,
and in the Pro, Giacomo and the other MAG drivers. I think MAGs are going to be a very strong team. I don't know if there's a team championship in this, but I think they're going to be very strong. Adam Hedgecock in AM, and there was a Pro-Am driver I nearly picked.
Hutchinson?
Mark Hutchinson, yes, exactly. But yeah, I think it's going to be... I have no idea how fast any of these guys are in a TCR.
Exactly. We're walking into the unknown. Dutch UK Racing saying Reese, really? Clearly not a whole lot of confidence in Reese. But who do you think is going to win out? We'd be interested to see what your picks are. Maybe at the end of the season, you can boast about how you were correct from the first round. Well, we will go to qualifying in just a moment. We're going to play an advert just before that, but then when we're back, we'll be watching the qualifying.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome to Donington and the first round of the championship. We are in qualifying at the moment, and anyone who's familiar with our Thursday night broadcast or a lot of our series on Apex Racing TV when it comes to the ARL Championships. We have got a sort of separated qualifying. We've got the first 10 minutes dedicated for the amateur drivers, the next 10 minutes dedicated to the Pro-Am drivers, and then the last 10 minutes dedicated to the pro drivers. So we'll see the times should get faster as the session goes on. There's no rain, which is going to scupper the opportunities for the pro drivers, at least not on the forecast. And yeah, we'll see what these guys can do.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if the rain does come into the later races. We know there was a 22% chance on the session, sort of overall.
And it is 100% humidity.
Yeah, oh, it can for sure rain. It's just obviously when the session fired up, there was no rain in the foreseeable future. Man, I can't remember the last time I watched a TCR race. I'm not even sure I can identify. Obviously, I can tell an Audi from a Hyundai.
Well, there's two Hyundais.
No, I can't tell the difference. Not even sure I've driven them both. I own them all, and I always wanted to get into them. There was a period of time I was close to contemplating driving them, being British and all. It never happened.
You tempted to do Nord's 24 in the TCR?
No, I mean, I know nothing about the car at all. I would be 1K.
So you can see at the moment there are quite a few pros and pro-ams setting times in qualifying. However, that is against the rules. So they will receive a penalty after the race. So I'm sure it's just a round one thing. We always see it with a few drivers, but yeah, that will scupper their chances. Unfortunately, they will probably get a post-race penalty for that.
Yeah, the pros probably thinking it's the pros first, then the pro-ams, then the ams, and no excuse for the pro-ams. They would never. There is in no universe they're out first, or yeah.
But yeah, currently it is Damien Harris at the top of the standings. So we're running ball with Adam Moss, and he's just picking up a little bit of a draft because they will get plenty of attempts, but I've got to be careful of the 1Xs here. They are, I was racing around this circuit in a couple of different series actually recently. The 1Xs are very lenient around here. You can pretty much just leave a tyre on the curb, and that's enough to escape the 1X on parts of the track. So yeah, expect the drivers to really get quite leery out there in order to get the most amount of lap time.
Have you driven these cars much in your past?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever done a race.
No, I don't think I've ever raced them.
But I certainly own the Audi. That's probably the only one I own, I think. There was quite a lot of hype, I remember, back in, what, 2019, 2020? 2019, I think it was, when the Audi came.
Yeah.
And the others sort of came during 2020, I believe.
I think it was once the LMP3 got released and they changed the damage model. This car took a bit of a hit in participation, I think, because they used to be built indestructibly. And then the damage model changed on these cars and they started to receive... Yeah, because, you know, you want these cars to be able to door bang and...
Yeah.
And then, yeah, obviously, once the LMP3s were released, these were pulled out of the series that was partnered with the GT4s.
Yeah.
And actually, the GT4s did pick up in participation a lot around that time.
Here is Scott Malcolm, who is an absolute legend when it comes to Apex Racing TV. Been in a lot of races, been part of the channel for many, many years. And yeah, at the moment, he's quick enough for 16th place, which is not too bad, especially seeing that we have got a few pro and pro-ams out there. His qualifying is now over, though, so you can see it's up to 10 minutes. So now the AMs should go back to the pits and, yeah, retire from qualifying for the evening. And, of course, that'll be where they start for race 1.
I'm not sure I can identify the difference in... Is one Hyundai older? Like, how does it work? Are there actually two IRL? Like,
yeah, I think there's two I think because these cars, I mean, obviously we've tried our best to replicate BTCC, but fundamentally these are not BTCC cars. Right. These are WTCR cars, I think is the closest thing. So, yeah, they're sort of replicas of the cars in that series.
So Harris, the highest iRating guy in the field, is looking like he's starting out the series with a pen.
Well, I think, is it the top 3 are all broke qualifying rules?
The top 3 iRated drivers?
Yeah, Male and...
No, Mal even set a lap as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes one of them to head out and you think, oh, well, it's my turn. I didn't really, like...
Well, that's what I'm hoping none of the AMs are going to get confused about, where it comes to, oh, well, the pros are out there right now. But of course, they were, oh, it is in the rules, and they were literally reminded earlier today of, remember, qualifying.
Well, it's going to be an interesting stewards meeting.
Yes.
I thought I could hear you scuffling just to check you unworded the rules badly.
Yes, everyone goes out on track at all times. I don't think that was stated.
Yeah, it'd be a shame, but yeah, gives the gives some of the drivers who read the rules a big opportunity to score some big points. So qualifying will lock you in for the result for race 1. Race 2, you're locked into your position from the result of race 1, and then race 3 is a reverse top 8 from the race 2 finishing order.
Yes, yep.
That was a mouthful. It was clear in my head and going to be clean, but it didn't come out that way.
Yeah, the viewers will understand when it comes around. We've got Igor Shirkov improving just there. Aiden Kale, of course, still on track. He is the top Pro-Am driver as it stands. There is Shirkov taking part in a few of these series. Of course, the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship was on about 2, maybe even 3 years ago. That was actually the last time that it was on. And we did another British-style series, but of course we didn't have Duxton back then, so it wasn't quite as complete a calendar. I think we went to Not Kill twice, once using the normal layout and once using the reverse layout. But I think Igor was around for that. I think he had some decent results, and it's good to see him back in that TCR, trying his best in the Audi. And we have got a decent mix. The Hyundai is, of course, probably outnumbering any other car, but it is difficult to tell because there are 2 different Hyundais out there. So some of them are the Veloster, and some of them are the Elantra.
I think it's the Elantra I like. But that's only because I met the guys a couple of the tracks I was at, the IRL. Hyundai were always there with a big presence, handing out that really bright, you know, that bright light blue livery they have. I've got shirts, jumpers, and hats covered in it. I like it. So yeah, I'm rooting for them. And they all still run, like Audi still in it, IRL, because they pulled out of almost everything.
That's a good point, actually. I'm not entirely sure. But of course, they might still have some customer teams potentially running
True.
cars.
They did say they would help support customers while they wind down racing operations.
Yeah.
Madness. Audi, of all of the companies I could have seen stepping back. In all fairness, I actually think they meant F1 as well. I think they would have sold the team. At that time when they were pulling out, I think they would have sold the team for 3/4 what they paid for it if they could have got an offer. If they could have got an offer, and not.
Well, I mean, these F1 teams now are worth. I think Haas was valued at $800 million, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because it's so tricky to get into F1 nowadays that you could pay $500 million to like appease the teams.
Sure.
In order to get in. Or
dilution,
you could
whatever
just,
it's called.
yeah, or you could just pay $1 billion for one of the existing teams and just save on the hassle. As Baymont goes up to 11th.
Yeah, looking good. So it seems like a lot of them have realised their mistake and now are in pit, but Tom Mao headed back out. He's going to spend half an hour grinding queue.
And you can now see the banners on the driver's windshield. So watch out for that. You can see the red for the Pro, and it's also on the side of their car as well. They've got the red number boards, but of course the Pro-Ams will have the green, and the AMs will have the white. So watch out for that, because the drivers do score points for their overall position, but there's still a little bit more competitiveness when it comes in amongst the, within your own class.
I'm not sure how to pronounce the name in fourth. Sikorsky?
Yeah, I think you know that.
Oh, wow. Looking like a really good time. Obviously, we have a reference because the pros headed out, but it is looking like a good time. So that's going to help, like Sam was explaining. You score points for your overall positions, which gives drivers in the AM and Pro-Am a massive opportunity to build a gap that you wouldn't normally see in a championship by, beating a few people from the class above them. We see a lot some battling happening out there.
Yeah, Mark Hutchinson gets in track position. Mark is a very strong driver, and I think what someone was saying in the YouTube chat, I think Dutch UK Racing was saying how Mark Hutchison is their pick for the Pro-Am title this season. Mark did struggle in qualifying, though, last season in the GT3 Trophy. Would genuinely qualify maybe around 25th, and then would end up in the race in about 15th. But he'd sort of go the long way about it as Kale moves up to 3rd place. Very good time for him. So, yeah, I mean, in a way, this series might help Mark a little bit because he's got 3 starts, basically, to get to the front. But he does need to work on his qualifying. And once again, his qualifying is letting him down a little bit today because he is down in 30th place. He's actually the slowest Pro-Am driver.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem like a good driver. We've covered him quite a few, especially, I'd say, last year, like quite a few leagues.
Yeah, GT3 Trophy and prototypes, I think he's been.
Yeah. And he's got that updated livery with the 3M partnership.
Yep. Here's Mahai Alexandru-Neg, one of the new drivers, I believe, for this series. Part of Walk Racing Esports.
Which we've seen a lot.
Exactly. Who are a Moldovan esports team. And they haven't got a huge contingent for this season, but they've got a couple of drivers.
I've seen you made it very British by just cranking the fog to maximum. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, well, we'll see what it's like. Well, I mean, to be fair, the weather recently has been very nice. And this is meant to simulate, ideally, what the weather is going to be on Sunday. I mean, it is just set to random, but it's set at the same date in sim. And obviously the same location as the real like BTCC rounds. So if you tune in for BTCC on ITV4 on Sunday and it looks like this, then we've nailed it.
Yeah.
Basically, that's our aim.
So we can now test the iRacing system accuracy by seeing how it map pairs up.
Yeah.
This does look like it could look, to be honest.
It could look like this.
It could.
Well, we're not far away from Donington, where we are in Corby. So yeah, if we look out the window.
Oh, that looks an inch too far.
Yeah, you can't put too much of the car over there.
Yeah, well, 49.98% is sort of the limit, and that looked like 53.
Well, to be fair, I think when I was driving, it is a little bit more than 50, but I think it's where you do it. Right? I think it's as long as it's not too early or not too late, I think it sort of changes. He's missed the apex bit there. You can get away with that. I think he's got a wheel on the curb, so I think Saunders wouldn't have picked up a 1x for running wide there. That's one of the most lenient off-track zones. And the drivers do get 20x, which obviously with the it's the contacts that you're going to be concerned about in these races rather than the off-tracks.
Yeah. As we were just talking about, I like the livery update. I really do. I think it looks fun, especially when they pair up the tyres. If they forget the tyres, then yeah, just park it.
Sure.
It helps the livery stand out.
And also he's got the green Pro-Am banner and number board, which fits in nicely.
Yeah, I always petition my banner be orange when I take part.
Karen Schiebel across the line. He will have time to start another lap if he's got the fuel to do so as well. This is an open setup series as well, if people weren't aware.
So
Schiebel stays in 19th.
Is that the Velocity, the what's it called? Or is that's not the Elantra, is it? It is the Velocity, yeah? Cool, cool.
Was that a 50-50 guess, or was that a bit of knowledge?
I didn't know what that one was, but I thought I'd recognise the Elantra. That's sort of the logic behind that, yeah. They're the Hondas. They're very iconic in my head. And is that the Elantra? The livery's throwing me off. Let me see. No, it's still a Veloster. I see that narrow spoiler.
You keep saying Veloster or Lancia, and someone can maybe keep track.
No.
And see how many we get. And if you get 51% right, then we'll say that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think from the rear, I'll be able to get it easy. From the front, not so easy, I don't think.
So my pick for this championship, Gonzaga, 23rd on the grid. Not a great qualifying for him, especially when you compare him to Aidan Kale, up 20 places ahead of him. Your pick, Rhys Saunders. He's going through the final chicane, taking plenty of curb. And it's looking like a pretty good lap for him. A personal best second sector, but clearly there was something wrong with it. And he returns back to the pits. That's it for him.
So the pros are legally allowed out very soon.
Now I think Kremer is not allowed to complete this lap because it's across the line to start this lap before. But he might be another one who gets a penalty. Scott Malcolm just improved.
So is it the last 12 minutes or 10?
Yeah, the last 12 minutes for the pros, because they have to complete their lap before the time is up.
Man, people out here just getting penalties like... I think we've got at least 11 penalties, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's very
far.
tricky to tell what the order is in qualifying, because obviously, right, usually we'd have the AMs and we'd be like, oh, P1 is AM. Whereas, of course, we're sort of in the situation of P1 is a pro, even though they shouldn't be out on track right now.
Yeah.
They're pole, but they will get a penalty. And this will be a post-race penalty as well. There won't be any penalties applied before, so they will keep that grid spot, but they'll be suitably punished for their race 1 result.
Yeah.
Got a question, Gabriel Bonus Corsi. Is he?
Yep, he is currently out on... He's the guy we're watching right now. So I assume our studio broadcast, the broadcast team noticed this chat message and put him on screen. They're a lot smarter than I. North Sim Racing, which we've seen a lot. Well,
Yep.
I've raced a lot, actually, in the... Yeah, me and Mark used to race them a lot for the 6-hour races. Yes, North Sim Racing. They would also get up early on a Saturday morning and want to do a 6-hour race.
Yeah, I've seen North Sim Racing. I think in the Endurance Championship, I think also Roberto Ferrari, I think won the Mazda Championship a couple of times. That was years ago. But yeah, they have had a lot of success. Here's a little bit of teamwork between
Max.
Moon and Mergia.
Nice looking livery. I mean, we've seen the livery a lot, but it looks really good on that car.
Good to see Moon out there. He's representing South Korea this season. So best of luck to him. Good to see that corner of the world represented, which is not always the case on our European-centric series.
It's true.
We've also got a Mexican in the form of Michael Teichmann. We've got the American of Anthony Hilton. And we've also got an Aussie as well, Aidan Cale.
And we have a Scottish flag out there, Stephen Hurd. Wait, we've got 3 Scots. Wow. That's an invasion.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of BTCC growing up? Well, you
not
haven't grown
really.
up yet, so currently.
Sure, no, I'm not watching BTCC at the moment.
I used to watch it a lot. Yeah. Was really fun. I didn't fall out of love with it. I just stopped just one day.
There was a question in chat asking what's the cutoff between the classes. Well, the pro cutoff is 4.9k, and the AM cutoff is 2.9. So if you're above 4.9k, you're a pro. If you're between 2.9 and 4.9, you're a pro AM, and if you're below 2.9, you are an AM.
Subtext is if your iRating doesn't match your skill level, we will spot it and move you.
Exactly. And there are a couple of exceptions to that, I think, as well in the field for inexperienced drivers who haven't done enough races yet to get their iRating up to the appropriate level. But we have 10 pros, 17 pro-ams, and 22 AMs. So, yeah, that's sort of just how it fell in terms of the iRatings. It's probably the most fair way of doing it. Because, yeah, we do have some very high I-rated drivers, over 7k, a couple of our drivers. Owen Neve in 14th place. I think he's one of the few drivers who was able to not go out on track when he wasn't supposed to, I think.
So he's going to lock in a nice result. If he...
I mean, he might, if he can stay close enough to the leaders, everyone else might get a penalty, and he might just win. We'll see if that happens. I think a couple of the drivers realised their mistake.
Sure.
So Damien Harris went out at the start, but he will still get a penalty. Ooh, as Neve goes off the track.
Best thing they could do to appease them is probably, if they've realised they've gone out, is then stay in and don't even go out during their turn. I don't know. Would that appease the... It would not help, I'm hearing in my ear. Right, let's keep an eye on some of these times. Yeah, so Damien Harris stayed in pits. after setting a rather quick lap. Just keep an eye on this. So that second sector was not... Oh, that's from lap 4, isn't it now? Yeah, not good enough in second sector.
Via Calver saying that Moon is part of the South Korean army. I know that they have military service as well in South Korea, but maybe he's full-time in the army. And also a professional magician, which really does open up a lot of...
it does.
A lot of cliches for us to say.
He's Navy, not Army. Nice.
Oh, Navy, sorry.
No, sorry, no, he corrected.
Oh, yeah.
You read it fine. And now a magician.
I wonder if he'll be disappearing up the road today. But if he's going to take pole here, he's going to have to pull a rabbit out there.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I was just about to say something equally as stupid. Sorry, I mean well crafted.
Of course, just needs to make sure he isn't wandering over the white lines. Otherwise, he could be in trouble.
Could be.
I mean, I should be saving these up, really.
Yeah, you should have spread them out. Yeah.
But I sort of just want to, get them all out straight away. Aidan saying in chat that he's one of the only Australians out there. He is the only Australian out there. It's currently 4:38 in the morning for him.
So that Aidan Cow, brilliant lap, P4.
Yeah.
So as long as he said it during his allotted...
I mean, I'm not sure.
As long as he's
sure.
Yeah, I think he might have headed out too early, but that's up to the stewards.
And we did get a chat from Tim as well in chat saying that potentially the AMS may have got a tow. There isn't going to be any sort of voiding or anything with that because it's sort of just, if someone breaks the rules, then unfortunately that can have an indirect effect on the other drivers. But in the end, there's nothing really that you can do about it particularly. So.
We usually see this happen on race 1, and then by race 2, they've all fully aware.
Yeah, it does mean that we have a very anticlimactic end of qualifying. That's why maybe we're not chatting too much about the positions at the top changing, because a lot of the drivers have realised their mistake and have gone back to the pits. So we've only got a few drivers actually out on circuit now. So Giacomo Murgia is trying to improve. Also Moon and also Bonascori as well. So and Bonacorsi as well has improved recently. So he's up to P3. So we could still have a change as Murgia approaches the line now. Is this good enough for the second row? No, he stays where he is, but you can see he was only half a tenth slower than his best up. He's going to go tow back to the pits. He has still got time to get back out there, though, and make one more attempt. Actually, no, he's just going to be short of time. He's about 10 minutes short of the time he needs to do that.
P6 lap. Franek Sikorsky, or however I said it earlier. That's now the dust has settled, an amazing time for an AM driver. And I'm just seeing in chat Neil asking what colours are the classes. Yes, red Pro, green Pro Am, and white Am. So yeah, we are a little bit surprised to see how it's shaken up. Like the Pro Ams didn't show up.
Yeah, you can understand how Neil could be a bit confused because it's not intuitive that the greens are meant to be above the whites, but that is where we are now. Shorten Nets just starting his final lap. Neve is on an out lap behind him and will start a lap in time. So, well, that's not exactly the best way to start the lap, but it might not be too bad. We'll see if he can get any more lap time. Currently half a second off the pace. As he approaches turn 1 for this final tour of the circuit in qualifying for him.
Yeah, the Pro-Ams are scattered. Like, I've never really seen it this fractured. Yeah, we have a lot of AMs at the back, from 33 to 40th, there's a lot of AMs. But then, as you move up all the way to P8, it's hard to determine who had the upper hand, whether it was AMs or Pro-Ams.
Yeah.
But this could be, very well, could be a lot of people's first time giving TCR a proper go.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's leagues like this that give people opportunity to, want to learn and try the car out, because officials have not been in its strongest suit the last maybe a year. It's been a little bit off, hasn't it?
as Bonacorsi, with the last lap of the session, goes to the top.
And he set his lap in valid time and didn't do it wrong. So
Well, I think he's... Well, I think so. No, I think you're right. I think he went out on track when he was supposed to. Now, I'm not certain about that, but I think he's done 9 laps, which is about as many laps as you can do in a 10-minute session. So I hope that he's all right. But obviously, there are going to be many others which will be in trouble. Mergia was not able to complete his last lap. And so the session will tick over from qualifying and into the race. And we'll have a 20-minute race coming up for us. So here is the grid. Bonacorsi on pole position ahead of Harris, Moon, Kale, Mergia. Sikorsky is top of the amateurs. Kale, by the way, is top of the pro-ams. Then it's Fowler, Shurikov, Harhov, Mail, Hurd, and Zuko in 12th place. Lots of new names there. Another new name is Shozanet. He's ahead of Neve, Beaumont, Senna, Vazelchuk, Neg, Nuzini, Teichmann, Scheibel, Malcolm, Coombe, and Saunders in 24th. And then we've got Spillane, Gonzaga, Cloudis, Morrison, Ivanov, Kramer, Hilton, Hutchinson, Finkbeiner, Oost, Hedgecock, Venturini, Backmeyer, Walsh, Toth, and de Klerk. But I'm not sure if de Klerk is going to start because he didn't do a qualifying time, and I'm not seeing him grid up so far. So, yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to see him, unfortunately. But that means that we've got 39 cars on track. And it's a standing start, of course.
So I was just reading the drivers are asking about qualifying.
Yeah, I was reading that during qualifying. So,
can we get
I'll
clarification?
come back to the pits now, is that all right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there will be some penalties, and there'll be varying sort of levels, I think, depending on how long they were out on track for. But that will sort of scupper the results for race 1. You're not going to be certain about it, but for race 2 and race 3, the results will be as is. There won't be...
So, is this a standing start?
It is.
Oh, my God.
So here we go, then.
Is that normal for this class?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy, I didn't even know that.
Bonacorsi from the pole position, and away we launch. It's a good start for the drivers, really on the front 3 rows of the grid. Maybe a little bit of a slow one, I think, for Kale, who's going to be a bit vulnerable, I think, on the outside. We've got to move on the inside. It's 3 wide for the lead. I think that's Moon trying to go up into the lead, but he's just going to have to back out of it. Bonacorsi has held on to the lead, but it's a bad start for...
Look at that from Moon.
Oh, so Moon has gone through, and he's got the inside for the next corner. Is he able to pull it off, or are we going to see Bonacorsi hold on? They're going to stay alongside up to the next corner.
3rd to 1st. That's a magic trick. He was brave. I thought it was a little bit too much of a send, but I actually underestimated how slow these cars are. Everyone was able to manoeuvre, and we haven't seen... I mean, if you compare this to our GT3... No, I'm confident. Look at this. These boys are built different. We saw 3 wides.
So far, it's good. Jay Walsh is up 8 places, by the way. There's been some big changes further back, but in the top positions, there's been very few changes, just 1 or 2 places.
I'll tell you what, the standing start, we probably saw at least 10 cars really light up the traction control. We saw some drivers really nail the start. I honestly did not know this car is a standing start.
I think it mixes it up. I think in the IMSA Michelin pilot challenge, I think it's a rolling start.
Oh, we lost someone. The new driver.
Oh, and I think there's someone's gone off. Oh, is it Mark Hutchinson? I think he'd had a solid start as well, Hutchinson.
Yeah, we got
gone off.
3 drivers out.
Yeah, Hutchinson, Oost has had a bad start, Neg has had a bad start, Morrison, Kramer, and Hilton have all dropped quite close to the back. Hutchinson's back to the pit, and there is no fast repair in this series, so if you get damage, it's the end of the race. Yeah,
the Messiah Neg down 19. That was the most severe of the drops. Mark lost 7. Yep, some off tracks happening out there, but all looked overall very clean lap 1.
Yep, we'll take that one.
And this Sikorsky, I don't know if you're secretly rooting for this driver.
I'm not familiar with him at all.
P6. Fowler our pick in AMS, P8. And then, yeah, big void. This is what we mean in the AM Championship, how massive the points can swing. If you get a P6 and then P2's got a P8 and P3's in 14th, gives you that big void on race 1 of the championship.
Yeah, big opportunity. There are 2 drop scores as well, by the way, in this championship.
How does that work? Per race within a week or the whole week? Is it drop
for
weeks?
the whole week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
it's 3 wide.
was that trying to go on the? Is it Finkbeiner? I think trying to go on the inside, trying to replicate what Moon did.
Yeah, it does
on
seem
that
to
one.
work in this car, in this class. Look at this.
Yeah, that was a very good move up the inside there.
Yep, in GT3s that just wouldn't work. Well, we saw it didn't work.
So it was, yeah, Gonzaga, so he went past the pair of them, and then, yeah, Finkbeiner losing out. Letting via Calver, letting us know in chat, of course, with the clutch variation that they have nowadays, it is much tougher to get off the line in these cars because there's slight differences in terms of the bite point compared to what you practice with, and you can't really anticipate it.
No, it actually varies in true iRacing fashion. It varies between practice, quality, and the race, so you can't use practice or qualifying, the end of qualifying, to prep your clutch. So you do just get lucky dip, much like we get with Porsche Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, usually you just run the highest variance of the highest threshold of the variance, unfortunately, and then at least it mitigates the worst your stop can be.
Saunders just gained a place, and we also might have Walsh as well gaining a place on Backmeyer. He's going the long way around here. Is he going to fend him off? Backmeyer back on the inside. Is the cutback available? Not really, because he had a cut on his own inside, and now he might have 3 wide. Is if you're going to rejoin safely, not quite. Walsh nearly spins round, but I think he probably just floored the throttle, and that spun the car back in the right direction. He's still under pressure, going to lose another place now to Hilton, Anthony Hilton.
Yeah, I mean, it is your responsibility to rejoin correctly. You don't have a right to get back to the track. If you're on the grass, stay on the grass. If it means you lose 30 positions, you lose 30 positions. So, yeah. What I'm saying is losing control on the grass, coming back on track, isn't like a valid ticket to say, oh, it weren't me. I spun a little bit. Yeah, turn towards the wall.
Stefano Senna is ahead of Teichmann and Malcolm. Malcolm's had a good start. He's getting a lot of places.
Oh.
Contact now. Is everyone going to get through? He's cleanly behind. No, they're not. And that was...
I think everyone...
No, there was one car who got tagged. Was it Coombe?
Yeah, he just turned... I think the replay will show he just... There was a car alongside him. You can't turn. You have to wait for them to turn, and then you can turn. Definitely looked like contact on the initial hit.
Let's get a replay of it. So it was Teichmann on the outside, Malcolm on the inside. It did look like Teichmann just turned in a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's all over the inside curb. Oh, you was right about the tag. He actually saves that. Maybe he loses a few positions, but... Yep. Nice recovery.
And of course, incidents like that cost you so bad because it's going to compromise your ability for race 2. It's going to set you back on the grid for race 2, which will affect your race 2 result, which will mean you'll start lower for race 3. And so this race 1 is so important. Qualifying is important. Race 1 is very important because it does affect your entire evening of racing. Still, Moon is leading the way, and quite comfortably, 0.4 of a second. It's just at the fastest lap of the race, 10th quicker than Bonacorski. There has been a couple of changes further back. Senna's got past Zucco, 2 Italians changing places, and that means that Senna's now up to 3rd place out of the amateurs. We've seen Senna race in the Porsche Cups and the GT3 Trophy.
I think Hedgecock's gone off. He's dropping. Yes, Hedgecock is dropping. So I'm not sure what's happened to him. Maybe just recovered, but yeah, lost a couple of positions just then.
Yeah, bad news for him. It's like Senna did lose that place to Zucco, or at least wasn't able to take it, but was able to stay ahead of Beaumont. However, of course, do check out the live timing link in the description below, and you can see what the gaps are for all the drivers, because of course we can only show you 25 drivers on our timing tower, but there are 40 racing tonight.
Oh, Alessandro Zucco, I think, has had an off, and Senna. I think maybe they had to come in together, because through goes Callum. So yes, or it was just a result of a 3-wide. It's hard. I'm staring at data like Neo here, so it's hard, and there's a lot of cars on track. Yeah, I mean, he's flashing, so someone's not happy about something.
Senna looks very, very quick. He's very much going up the order. Well, actually, him and Beaumont started alongside each other, and here they are still battling. They've got Scott Malcolm, who's up 5 places behind. You can see there's quite a train forming behind these guys, and when they start battling, as they are going to now, that train's only going to become more congested. It looks like Senna's going to get ahead. I think this is the sort of the line that you want for Senna, but it was such a good exit for Beaumont. He might be clear by the time they get down into the old hairpin, and
yeah,
he is.
You're exactly right, yeah. Yeah, Senna just didn't carry the acceleration.
And he's missed the apex there.
Yep. Wow, these cars can follow close. Does look like good racing. Very close, though.
Yeah, something's going to break, I think, in this Senna train, because Malcolm's going to go on the inside. Was he able to do anything? Senna covered it off, but look how close everyone else is behind.
Yeah. And that Alessandro's... Oh, Reese Saunders is off. Taron's off. Them two are dropping like tanks. And
they are.
Yeah, Reese is waiting for an opportunity to rejoin the track, but unless you're parallel, it's...
Oh, no! And that has done in the wheel for Toth. Atia Toth was coming around that one, and Reese waited so long.
Yeah,
he only had to wait one more car.
I mean, he's my pick, but imagine waiting 20 minutes with your car askew like that and then just driving on the track like that. I cannot believe it. He knows better.
So here was what happened. So it was Schiebel, and it was Saunders.
Oh, they're just...
Yeah, everyone's checking up ahead. It's not Schiebel's fault whatsoever. They're just all checking up ahead.
Yeah, well, it's the back person. Whoever the most back person is, it's their fault. Because if they're checking up, you can't drive through them. So,
well, I think they were all driving through each other ahead, and that was the issue, that they were
yeah.
just hitting each other, stopping, and then the next one was coming along. We got Christian Kramer off track, just past the Craner curves, and he's pretty much last now. The pack of the drivers who are still running is still pretty congested, so if you have an incident in that midfield, you're going to be basically last in the train.
Yeah.
We've got 3 retirements. One didn't start, de Klerk, and Saunders, Toth, and Hutchinson, all back in the pits, and with no fast pair in this series. If you got damage.
Well, 2 more races, so you get one more opportunity to try and get yourself up the order for then the 3rd race to finish climbing. Obviously, we are going to be watching that P8 battle at the end of race 2. That'll be where the cameras are, because it's going to get heated, because you get an instant gain of 8 positions, which is always beneficial.
And it seems like leading is quite an advantage as well. Like, obviously, we sort of saw it in GT3 Trophy, which, of course, on that occasion, was it Tim Grieven, I think, took pole in the reverse grid race, and it led it home. But Moon's been quite comfortable. I'm sure had Bonacorsi led after turn 1, or if Harris had led after turn 1, they would have had a similar race to what Moon has had. But because Moon was able to get out turn 1 first, he's had quite an easy time of it in the lead.
Yes, indeed. No, he's looked fast, though. That was a very dominant move at the start of the race to not just clear 1 but clear 2 drivers with... Yeah, it was impressive. I mean, I might not have been saying that had the 3 wide not worked out in T1 of a race, but we shall see.
Jesse Oost has just passed Christian Kramer, by the way, for last position, 35th. I think they're still alongside, actually, those 2. Here they are. They're not too far away from the cars ahead, so if, one of them can get ahead. And of course, Kramer was ahead earlier on, but then had an issue at the old hairpin. And look how he's made up car lengths on the car ahead as they
I was thinking that.
Alongside.
There is a 2 wide in front of them, though, so maybe that... Oh, is either committing? The inside driver is not committing. That's going to leave him very vulnerable. But, I mean, he may end up losing a position here because he had to get out of the way of the Audi. But the Audi's looking like he's going quite slowly. That's Adam. Maybe a bit of damage. Yeah,
he seemed to be careful against Jay, who, because these two are the most experienced drivers in ARL. Ooh, a little bit wide there for Adam. They've got Venturini, who I think is in his first ever race. Kramer, I think, is going to try to get past as many of these guys as he can before the end. Still got 8 minutes to go in this race 1. At the leads, it seems to have sort of calmed down quite a bit, albeit the gap is down to 1/4 of a second, to be fair now. But not too many changes for position in the top 10. But yeah, further back, there's still plenty of drivers trying to recover the places that they lost earlier on.
Yes, indeed. And just to mention again, this Franek Sirorski P6 is an AM driver, 2.1K. He is going to, if he does this again, he's going to find himself in Pro-Am by race 3.
Well, he might find himself in Pro-Am after race 1, honestly.
P6 is ridiculous, right?
Yeah, but Russ Fowler's doing very well as well, isn't he? Up there in
Yes.
P8, so they're both really
Yeah, I mean,
overperforming.
yeah, it is hard to judge. The Pro-Ams generally had an awful qualifying. Now, whether that was a lot of worry over the penalty situation and what happened and drivers heading out at the wrong time, but yeah, Pro-Ams just didn't really show up.
Yeah. So I think the closest battle I'm seeing out there right now is Thomas Coombe in 23rd place. And Thomas Coombe has just lost a place now.
And got it back. It looks like Lucas and Thomas are fighting hard.
Here they are. And they might even go 3 wide. Well, okay, they're going to go 2 by 2, it looks like. Hopefully that green card doesn't try to go past everyone. And look how wide a line Coombe had to take there. He realised that he was going to have 2 cars alongside him and probably did the wise thing and just leave an incredibly arcing line. He's got a good exit. And he's going to let Hilton defend against all these drivers heading into the chicane. Hopefully neither of them will hit the car ahead. Here comes Hilton, contact between the two, and into the wall goes Ivanov. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure whose fault that was. Maybe Hilton was at fault because he did seem to drive in very deep into the chicane.
Yeah, it looked like he was too far back and then went deep. A bit of a desperate Verstappen-esque move, I think, but we're watching it from a TV cam in real time, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it didn't look like he earned the corner to that one.
Via Carver mentioning that Tom Mayer hasn't come through the pack really. Started
true.
10th.
Yeah, I mean, fun fact about Tom Mao, of all the penalties that will be handed out, he did a lot of laps in qualifying. He did the most of anyone. So that is his pace.
He's definitely going to get it. Well, who do we think is actually going to win this race? Can we remember who didn't break the rules? Owen Neve didn't.
I think Bonakorsky, Sorotsky,
Bonakorsky, yeah.
And then I think Aidan Cole did breach the rules.
He did, yeah.
Maybe Igor didn't. I can't remember.
I'd hope Russ Fowler didn't break the rules because he did GT3 trophy.
I don't know.
last
He
season.
didn't. No, he didn't. I don't believe so. I didn't see his name until the last.
So, of course, the stewards will decide how big a penalty. It will be a mixture of a time penalty applied to race 1 and license points.
I think Tom Mao spent longer qualifying than this race length. Honestly,
he's going to be tired at the end of today.
Yeah. He did, I think, 18 or 19 qualifying laps.
Sure.
So that is his pace. He hasn't been able to unhide it because he's had more experience than anyone on the track.
So these 3 are getting a little bit closer. Bonakorsky set an absolutely lightning lap a couple of laps ago. He's got the first lap of the race. Managed to get the gap down to 1/4 of a second.
Yeah.
He's just not able to do anything with it yet.
I mean, these guys aren't stupid. It is a 3 lap. It is a 3 race format. Yeah, if they find themselves in 10th or something after an accident, then it ruins all the races. So yeah, I mean, I imagine they're all very happy just to.
But counterpoint to that,
Yeah.
if Harris finishes 3rd here, he's going to start 3rd for race 2. So,
True.
like finishing, if he can win this race, he'll probably win race 2. So it's almost as though you're getting points for 2 races by making the moves.
Sure, understood. Yeah, Moon's cooking though. Absolutely cooking. I think he's in control at the moment.
Oh.
Here we go again.
So yeah, Gonzaga was making this move into T1 earlier on. Works out on that occasion. These guys scrubbing their mirrors off.
Yeah, I haven't seen the inside not work there in TCRs yet. It's pretty huge. It's almost like, you know, the longer line in these cars is extremely slow.
So Gonzaga up to 21st, up 5 places from his race starts. And by the way, there are some bonus points as well for this season. So if you lead a lap in your division, you get 3 bonus points. If you set the fastest lap in your division, you get 3 bonus points. If you're the fastest qualifier in your division, you get 3 bonus points.
Round or week?
Each race.
Each race?
Yeah.
3 races?
Yeah. So it's replicating BTCC again. So that is the rules
I'm
that they
sorry,
have in
how many,
BTCC.
what is it? Fastest lap?
Fastest lap, leading a lap, and then fastest qualifier. Fastest qualifier only applies to qualifying.
Wait, lead in 1 lap gets you the points?
It gets you 3 points, yeah. It's 75 points for the overall win. So yes, it's quite lucrative.
Wow.
So it's almost like it's almost a bonus on top of your race win. Because right now, Moon is the only pro who's getting those points. Kale is the only pro-am who is getting those points.
Right.
Sikorsky is the only am who's getting those points. When it comes to the reverse grid, it could be, you know, a fair few drivers who get the bonus points.
Understood. So only 4 retirees. We've got 35 cars on track.
Just had a move, by the way, for Neg over Fink Bynett. Looks like Fink Bynett may have made a mistake because he was very slow coming out the whole old hairpin. And he's going to be under pressure now from Coombe. But Coombe isn't able to get it done. Here comes Anthony Hilton as well. He's been in the mix as Hilton a lot.
Hedgecock just lost a position to Kremer.
Yeah, Kremer making his way back up through the order.
As is Neg, like you mentioned, down 5 from that incident earlier. Who are the big movers? Scott Malcolm up 5, but I do remember he set too many qualifying laps. I think he came out at the right time, but then just forgot to go back in. I think. I saw it briefly.
I guess that's easy for an AM, right? If you go out on track, because you're first on track, aren't you? If you're an AM.
Oh, wait.
So you just need to make sure you don't stay out too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Malcolm, he's very close to Senna.
This must be the white flag lap.
You know, one more lap to go. They're just about to start their last lap.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm confusing when the leader is. So Bonacorski with the fastest lap of the race.
Yes, so 3 bonus points for that. But you do get, I think, 7 more points for winning the race compared to second. Plus the 3 points that Moon has got for the leading lap.
Let's not forget, though, Moon and Harris have penalties coming away, whereas Bonacorski, who's got the fastest lap, and, by my reckoning, the race win for this race.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that all to the stewards. Yeah, Moon, Cal, Sikorsky at the moment, leading their respective classes. But yeah, we've seen no movers from the mid-pack pros.
Yeah.
Which only tells me that the guys in front are rapid.
Yeah, the top 10 places haven't really changed too much. And Moon's just got to survive one more corner here. The gap is very small. It's a quarter of a second, but it's not much of a braking zone into this final chicane, so there's not a whole lot that these guys can do. They'll get right up to the bumper, but nothing's going to come from it. And so it's going to be a first race win of the season for Jung Soo Moon, who wins for Mag Performance SRT ahead of Bonacorsi and Harris. Kale will win out of the Pro-Ams provisionally. Sikorsky will win out of the AMs provisionally. And that is where they'll start for race 2. This battle was getting pretty tight on the last lap. Ooh. And I think Vasilchuk will have to serve a slowdown, right?
Yeah,
he will. He serves that.
Yeah, if you don't serve the slowdown, it's like a 40-second penalty.
I think he was trying to serve it, but he wasn't serving it with much urgency. I'm concerned it'll be a 40-second post-race.
What was the name? I'll keep an eye on it.
Vasilchuk. That's the name. Here's a little bit of passing as well. Further back, Morrison's overshot it. Oh no, well, Morrison overshot it. Kramer also overshot it. And Hedgecock might steal a place right at the end on Morrison to go up into 31st place. Oost also got past Venturini right on the line. Venturini was very slow towards the end there. Drops a fair few places down to 35th. He was the last of the runners. We had 5 retirees.
How much break do they get between each race?
Nothing.
Ah, so no toilet breaks allowed. Okay, great. Good luck, guys.
Between race 2 and race 3, we'll have a 3-minute warm-up.
Oh, you are so kind.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't implement a warm-up between race 1 and race 2, so this is what it is. Moon is on pole. Well, we won't go through the whole grid. I can only butcher the names once per evening. Bonacorski in 2nd, Harris in 3rd. And we'll see if overtaking is possible, but I mean, for Damien Harris, he's got to be visualizing what Moon did in race 1, right? Getting a good launch, a bit of a draft down into T1, and then stick it up the inside for T1.
Vasilchuk kept his position, so he must have served the slowdown.
Good. Well spotted, yeah.
Because it is brutal. famously out of the Montreal, out of that last chicane. Very similar ending. I was racing Rubens Barrichello in a league race, and we went door to door. He cut it. Couldn't say he slowed in time. Beat him.
So here we go then for race 2 of the evening. It's Moon on pole position this time. Can he get as good a launch as he did in race 1? Well, it looked like a lightning reaction, almost potentially a jump start, because he absolutely launched away. Bonacorsi is going to have to go defensive. Look at the run from Mergia on the outside, but I don't think it's going to be too much doing from there. Was late on the brakes, however. Harris, has he managed to get that move done? I think it may have worked well once again, but the man starting P3, and Bonacorsi has lost out once again.
We've lost
a big collision.
Yeah, we've lost 9 cars. It's hard to see. There was a lot on off the track.
And Bonacorsi has dropped off as well, a little bit further up the road. So
yeah, Bonacorsi's done. He is dropping.
Yeah, he's gone wide at the old hairpin. Or maybe even a slow down. He just seems really slow.
It looks like only one retiree from that absolute cluster that went onto the sand.
And we've got a half spin, a couple half spins. Do they spin back on track? No, they were able to floor it, but we've got 4 wide.
Yeah, 4 wide.
Keeps it straight. And someone does go off. And it's Callum Beaumont.
Wow. Yeah, still a lot of movers and shakers. Senna's dropping. Stefano Senna and Callum Beaumont are dropping.
Yeah, Beaumont's gone back to the pits. Didn't seem like too much damage, but it's hard to tell. And Senna, he's got a lot of damage. Yep. Or he's just slow out the corner, I'm not sure. You can see some bodywork flying in the background. So race 1, very, very clean, but race 2, it all came to a boil.
Yeah, I don't think I don't even think Senna should turn in here. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, does he make a beeline? We can hear someone coming into the pits. That's the siren. And we've got another one off as well. Someone coming back to the pits.
Oh, someone using the dirt. Let's hope he can rejoin okay. Looks okay. He's received a little tap for his... This isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well.
Spink Finder. He gained a lot of places in race 1. Kramer just ahead of him is up 12 places, but we've lost Nuzinai, who, to be fair, actually has got back out on track, but also Chenna, Spillane, Beaumont, and Coombe all back to the pits.
Bonacorsi and that Sikorsky are fighting.
Yeah, I think Sikorsky's just lost a couple of places there. I wonder if Bonacorsi and Mergia collided, because they were 3rd and 4th, and they're now 6th and 7th.
Yeah. Hopefully get a replay of the start. But yeah, we've lost 5 drivers, which in the calamities I saw seems like a low number now. Moon with the fastest lap of the race. Kremer is Kremer's dropping. Yeah, Kremer has...
Oh, after such a good start as well for Kremer, he might actually end up where he started. Or actually, I think he's still going to be higher than that, because he seems like he's stopped dropping now, down to 23rd. I think he's lost 4 places in that. And they've got Backmai just ahead. He's the one who's just gone off the road slightly, and Oost was able to get underneath.
So much flashy today.
Yeah, we need it, and it's this foggy. So we're going to get a replay of something that happened on lap 1. Oh, look at that. So this is something to do with Daniel Spillane.
Oh, yeah, he dug in down the inside when there wasn't a gap.
I think someone was almost hitting him as well, and then it's just one car on the apex, and they all have to scatter.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually as bad as what I thought. Like, there wasn't that many collisions there. They all seemed to just have to turn left at a right-hander to avoid.
Yep.
So I think in terms of actual damage and forexes, I think just there was only a handful of unlucky drivers.
Yeah, there was just a dumb inside send.
Kramer back in the wars. And look at Hutchinson, who started pretty much last in this race. He's up 15, is Mark Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah, good spot.
And he's going to go on the
up
outside.
12. Oh.
And all the altitude cars in a line.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at the grabber as well, now on the edge of the circuit. Fortunately, it's off the racing line, so it shouldn't affect them too much. Hutchinson is going to get that one done, and now it's going to be a case for Kramer to have to look behind at Saunders and Hedgecock.
Yeah. Lucas is through on Jorg, so 19th, up 5 positions.
Vasilchuk ahead of Chozanet. These two were battling at the end of race 1. We thought Vasilchuk might get a post-race penalty. Seemed to escape it though. And their battling is not ending.
No, they both want the inside. I think when they've all learnt now that inside's just way too valuable in this class. Nicely handled.
Look at that gap.
Yeah, well, there was the Bonakorski-Mergiar incident, so I assume that created the gap out then for him.
Yeah, well, although also a bit of a mistake as well, like between lap 3 and lap 4, maybe a mistake from Harris. Yeah.
Kremer's back ahead of Reese. I think the Altitude boys are back together. I'm trying to work out what happened in what order there.
Hurd has also got past.
Oh, Hutchinson's behind both his teammates, so that's what's happened.
It's going well for Hutchinson for a couple of laps, but it's gone back to how it was before.
Yeah, he was ahead of, what was it, Kremer, Reese and Adam. So yeah, something happened there. Okay, we've got a replay of what I've been yabbering about.
Well, this looks like it might actually be a self-mistake here from Hutchinson.
Yep, got in. Whoa!
I don't think he took more curb than others. He just took the wrong amount of curb, almost.
I think he went in a bit deep, yeeted on the brakes, and that lowers your front ride height, and then if you hit the curb, it's exacerbated.
I don't know if we could get a replay of what happened to Mergier and Bonacorsi on lap 1. Of course, those two fell back, and that is why they're 6th and 7th. They were in 3rd and 4th earlier on. And here's what happened.
Yeah, we saw this. It all looked like it was going to be fine. Mergier tries around the outside, doesn't make it work. And then this is when we cut away the first time.
Yeah, I think it was down to the old hairpin that the contact was made. Chaos going on in the background.
Oh, too wide behind.
Yeah, Mergier was actually having to fend off from, I think, maybe Kale. Oh, and then he goes on the inside, and
What?
Harris was lucky, and he could just not get stopped, so that will definitely be a 5-second post-race at least for Mergier there.
Yeah, just, I think he was more concentrating on outbraking the guy next to him and then realised, yeah, he'd gone a little deep.
I mean, Mergier's had 4 laps to give up the place.
Well, look at this dirt racing. Both of them off the track.
And Kramer gains a place out of it, ahead of Backmeyer. Trying to put some distance between him and the altitude drivers.
Don't think he's going to have a run here, so we're hoping we don't see an incident. Oh, no, he's got really confident on the brakes there. Brake deep, got it done. Very nice job done.
Yeah, smart from Backmeyer. He's been able to avoid pretty much all the incidents, I think, so far. Impressive
run from Jesse Hughes, P21 at the moment, and AM driver up 12 positions. Tom Mao, P9. And obviously this sets up your position for race 3, but obviously the top 8. And that would put an AM on pole. Let's just respect that for a split second.
Mistake for Stephen Hurd. That's going to compromise his chances of getting onto the reverse grid. He was 10th place, but he's just run wide. Maybe even picked up a 1x. A slowdown. Maybe picked up a 1x for running that far wide. And he's down into 12th place now. Lost out to Neve and Fowler. We're watching Ivanov, and he might fancy his chances here against Teichmann. He's got damage on the front of that car, but the 2 arms. Bit of blinking. Teichmann.
I couldn't tell if it was damage or literally part of the livery, like if he's just painted it black.
No, that's definitely missing.
Oh, yeah, it is missing, yeah. When I first saw it, I just couldn't tell.
There's the swap. So I was sort of waiting for Mergier because he killed Bonacorsi on lap 1 to give up that place. And finally he has done. I don't think he's going to escape a penalty, though. It might weaken the penalty, but he still wants a penalty.
Do they? The penalties are protest. You have to protest them.
You have to protest. So that's
so
a good point.
Yeah, he might forgive him. Yeah.
I mean, it was lap 1, however, though. So all incidents on lap 1 do get looked at.
Okay.
So you'll do well to escape.
True.
Thanks to Apex Racing Academy, by the way, for sponsoring this broadcast. Do check out apexracingac.com for more details on Apex Racing Academy. You can get setups for these touring cars in each of the 4 TCR cars, but also for GT3 cars and for single-seaters, and pretty much everything in between. So to check out apexracingac.com, want to get yourself a bronze, silver, or gold subscription and get faster on iRacing.
Yes, indeed. So this Sikorsky, I know I've said his name a lot. P8, AM driver, 2 pros in front of him, 2 pros behind him, and sitting in the spot to take race 3 pole. It would put him so, like, I know Russ Fowler's done well, but him and Russ would be standout leaders in the championship for, I mean, they've got themselves almost like a 3-race boost out of all of this.
Adam Morrison was all over the shop through the chicane. Half surprised he didn't pick up a slowdown. Now that I say that, maybe he has got a slowdown because that was an unusual line. Coming out of turn 1. So I think he lost that place. Saunders making his way back up. There was Morrison, so yeah, he did lose out to Scheibel in that. I think he's still serving it, look how slow he is compared to the cars behind him. Here is Sikorsky. Got to work hard because Tom Mail can see a reverse grid pole, and I'll pick for the Pro Championship, Mail. If you can get this position, then all of a sudden race 3 might totally change. There could be issues further back in the pack, which involve Moon and Harris, who have scored big points so far tonight. And maybe Mail will be able to romp off into the distance and get an easy race 3 victory. So a lot riding on this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Mal was our pro pick before the before the season started, but I mean, Sikorsky had the pace in race 1, so just needs to ice forward, concentrate. But let's see. You don't know, Tom Mal might have been caught behind a slightly slower driver, but just a guy who was really good at defending, and that scuffed his first race. You can never tell.
And of course, even if it is a really good result for Mail, unless Moon has a really bad race 3, it's going to be very tricky to eclipse him for points tonight.
Ay, ay, ay. That's the 7th pun.
That was a good one, though, wasn't it?
It was good, yeah.
It was really good.
Yes, you pulled that one out of the hat.
I will admit I am being a bit of a lunatic about these puns today.
So your pro pick, that was going to be your pro pick, what's his name? Courchevel. Did you say he's not racing in the series or just the first race?
Not racing race 1.
Ah, okay.
But there are 2 drop scores in this series out of the 10 rounds because it is such a long season. And a couple of the races are in August, and we appreciate that. People might be on holiday.
Russ Fowler through, but is Neve dropping? Owen Neve is okay. Russ Fowler through on Owen Neve. Having a really good start to his championship.
Yeah.
Can't remember his first race.
These 2 again.
Yeah.
These 2 cannot go. Oh, and now there's going to be something between them because one has gone off the track, and Bazilchuk will have a big slowdown here. Now he's got to be smart about this one. There's no point in retaliating, and he's just going to let him go. Now, how much of a slowdown is that? It might not be too bad.
Yeah, hopefully he can get it cleared.
I think he's easing off here. It seems like he's back up to full speed. He's got Scott Malcolm. Malcolm's done terrifically well in these 2 races. Wasn't a great qualifying for Scott, but gained a lot of places in race 1, and he's held on to them in this race 2, and even gained a couple more.
Do we think he'll let him by?
I don't think it was clearly one person's fault or the other, honestly.
Gotcha.
I wasn't paying much attention. Did it look like someone?
I couldn't see the full fender. Like it was leaning on his fender, but I don't know if he turned into it or was being turned into, so it's hard to judge. Judging by the Nazar's body language, he wants this back.
Saunders just got past Oost, by the way, for 21st place. But yeah, Bazilchuk is definitely going to be fighting back. I mean, overtaking is seemingly been tricky today, but these guys have sort of proven that to be wrong, because I think they've gone each way about 3 times.
Oh, we forgot to check what the chance of rain was for this race, and if it changed. We need to check that for each race, I suppose.
I think the chance of rain is, as here he comes. Opportunity, and Bazilchuk up the inside. And now there's more contact between the 2 of them. And Scott Malcolm is right on these guys now. Might have a fantastic run onto the back straight.
Yeah, that was an odd one.
It almost looked like Chozanet had given up on it and then pulled some shapes. Bonacorsi, by the way, has got past Harhov. We talked about Harhov too much.
We have not.
I'd remember pronouncing that name.
Yeah, it's a good recovery. Because it wasn't his fault, right?
No,
Bonacorsi got hit.
He got hit by Mergia. So could he get Shirikov maybe by the end? He's only half a second behind. Zuko, by the way, has got
Scott
past
Malcolm just dropped, yeah.
I think Malcolm probably held up by the 2 cars ahead. He's going to try to get back underneath, though. This is risky stuff for 2 drivers who would have a brilliant amount of points. And, well, that run for Malcolm was terrific, and he's been able to get back underneath.
Yep. I like that the door banging is alive and well in these cars. Like, we're seeing a lot of it. Obviously, we've still got the issue if you lean on their quarter panel, they go around pretty quick. Oi, bonk. Oh, that was confidence.
That is so brave.
Obviously, Ned trying to make his way back through. I mean, he is up net 6 positions now, so maybe he's just trying to get past these AM drivers. You do drive, if we're being honest, slightly different, don't you? When the class in front, when the driver in front of you is a class or 2 below, you sort of pitch yourself ahead of them, right? I'm not saying you get more aggressive or push them, but you...
Yeah, you feel like you should be ahead. Maybe you're thinking, okay, this person's doing well for now.
Correct.
They're not going to keep
Let's
it up.
get by them as quick as possible, yeah. All mind games.
Yeah, because Zuko will try to pull away here, but Malhai Alexandru is being a little bit of a pain in the neg right now.
Oh, hello, we're on camera.
Like, everyone needs to see David's reaction to that. So if anyone wants to, you know, hook me out for, you know, any comedy stuff, just let me know.
Everyone in the audience just has to read out their names for Sam to prepare the material.
And then I think for 10 minutes and go, nah, I haven't got anything for you. What's your name?
Yeah, what's your name? Any middle names?
Your name is Moon. Fantastic, I got loads. There goes a move for Mergia.
Yeah.
That was a good move. I mean, he had to absolutely send it into the chicane there, but he just got it stopped.
Did, yeah. Mergia, Bonacorsi just recovering. But still, it leaves Shirikov in a really good position, up 3 positions. Pro-Am driver, sitting P4.
The gap between the leaders has really come down. I think there's been a mistake maybe on this lap from Moon because it's down to 7 tenths.
Yes, you're right. He had almost a 1.82 second lead at one point.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on this lap, so maybe it was a couple of laps ago and it's just been coming down. Yeah, so it was a few laps ago because, yeah, that gap was quite big. It has been eking down a little bit, but well, I mean, to be fair to Harris, in race 1 he was 3rd, and that's almost the worst place to try to make a move because P2 has got a draft in front of you. At least now, Moon has got nothing ahead. You can have a clear shot of him.
I think Jesse Oos dropped a position there at the corner of my eye. I think I saw movement. Reece Saunders up 16, Mark Hutchinson up 14, but these guys got caught in incidents in the first race, so they're just making recovery moves. So can Bonacorsi clear Shirikov? And is Tom Mao actually going to get this done, or are we going to see an AM driver on pole? But I say AM, like, I'm pretty sure he can handle it. Like,
yeah.
Pretty sure he can handle it.
Well, these two are sort of falling back in, aren't they? Oh, here we go. Gonzaga in that very distinctive livery. And he's around Swansea. These are our 2 picks for the championship.
Wow.
And they've got Kramer just ahead. How much squeezing is there going to be from Gonzaga? He's pushing it a bit. Oh, he needs to be careful there as Jorge. He's left himself vulnerable on the exit.
Yeah.
Oh, but that curve is so treacherous, and Saunders couldn't get any traction.
Yeah, Reece looking like he wants to get this done ASAP. Oh, what a...
See the side of the screen, the fastest laps, and that does matter because 3 bonus points go to the fastest laps for each division.
Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it.
That was the longest spin ever. I said a whole sentence whilst that spin was happening for Adam Morrison's, but he's got it back going again. And I think just ahead, maybe Hilton's got past Hedgecock, albeit that, yeah, that's a bit further up the road.
Yeah, I mean, can you spin TCRs? I thought all you do is yeet the throttle and they straighten up.
I mean, it didn't look too bad initially.
Oh.
Oh no. And that's off for Gonzaga. And that was coming, really.
Gonzaga tried that exact move last lap.
Yeah.
Exact same move. You can squeeze someone all you want, as long as you leave them room, but not when they're on your quarter panel. Like, it just makes no sense. Because you can't impact any strength. As soon as 1 Newton meter is pushing against, you spin.
These two have been glued to one another for the whole race. Neve and Hurd.
What? Easy. But yeah, like you said, that incident was coming. The exact same thing had been tried last lap.
And this is the final corner then. And it's going to be another race win for Young-Soo Moon. As long as he keeps the race 1 victory, which I don't think he will do.
Tom Mau's got head.
Yeah,
oh no,
might be a
Sikorsky.
change. What's going to happen? This is for reverse grid pole. Mail. And there's contacts. And Mail's going to do it. He is going to do it against Sikorsky.
Oh no.
And Sikorsky will be outraged by that one.
Oh no.
And I wonder if we could quickly get a replay.
Yeah.
Because the session's going to tick over very quickly and then we won't have access to the replay. But we've got about 30 seconds or so.
Let's see what led to this.
Yeah, so Mail had got alongside, so this was his best shot in the race. Was he alongside all the time? Yeah, that's fair for Mail.
It is fair, yeah.
He kept, I mean, the impressive thing was to get alongside in the first place. To get himself in the mix.
So when we saw them ahead, they weren't ahead. It was just they were side by side, and Tom had the slight run advantage. Wow. To get that, like, he just gained 9 positions for race 3 in the last corner of the second race.
Yeah.
And that's why he's our pick for the championship, right?
Exactly.
That's how you do it. Although he has got a penalty going from race 1. No, it's tough out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more of a bonus if you didn't break the rules, sort of. So, yeah, I don't think his position would change too much. But yeah, that is race 2. So we can transfer over into the warm-up now. So this is a 3-minute break for the drivers to take a breather.
I've always questioned it. When it pops up on my screen, warm up, I'm always like, I'm good, I'm going to warm down, thank you.
Yeah, like, seriously, man? Like, warm further up. So they are the race 2 results. Harris got very close. What do you think Moon and Harris are going to be able to do in race 3? And do you think the fact that they've had such a good race 1 and 2, do you think that will mean that they'll be a bit more cautious in race 2?
Well, I think if it's Sikorsky leading, I know he's been, he's put on a brilliant display, but it might have changed the race and given Moon and Harris a shot. I don't see an issue right now with Tom Mao. I think he can win this race, 100%. I don't see how he can be challenged. He's good at defending. He's good. He's consistent. Is he the quickest? No, but Moon and Harris have got a lot of fast drivers, especially when you look at Bonacorski's and Mergier's position. It's going to be very hard for Moon and Harris to, I think, make headway to win the race. But I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. I will also take this opportunity as well to give a shout out to the Late Apex as well, our sim racing podcast that we host each week. And of course, earlier on we did do an episode as well. There wasn't a whole lot of sim racing news. However, we did talk about what tracks should be added to iRacing. We were surprised just how many there were, which could feasibly be added. And we made a tier list for them.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing. We've received so many tracks that nobody asked for, and there was a massive list we made that we're asking for. Thank you.
Yeah. Our big 3, they were Bahrain, Singapore, and Baku.
Yes, I would like Baku. And Singapore's always been my dream in iRacing, but I think Baku would be a game changer. And Bahrain's Bahrain. I think it's such a solid circuit. There's nothing really wrong with it.
And of course, hosts F1, hosts WEC, probably hosts Asian Le Mans Series. So yeah, a lot, of emphasis on that track. But yeah, how are we feeling about race or lap 1 for this race 3? Because race 1, very clean. Race 2, it was sort of just a couple of cars, maybe one car a little bit slow on the apex, a couple of other cars trying to outbrake the drivers on their outside, bit of a check up, one car spins on the apex and then the others have to scatter. You know, it doesn't take a lot. Yeah,
and especially that first into that lap, T1 lap 1 sort of created even closer gaps throughout the lap, so we saw a lot more opportunistic moves. The drivers are learning where and where it's when and where it's dangerous, but they're also getting more and more confident. So it's that awkward balance. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a big one. It's just who will it involve?
Yes. And yeah, will it be anywhere near the front? Because in race 1 and race 2, well, race 1 there really wasn't much going on, but even in race 2, it was really only the drivers from about 20th place back who were affected by that big shunt. We'll see if anything happens to our front runners for this race. But we're going to transfer over. And there is Tom Mayle on the pole position then for race 3 ahead of Harhov. Mergia lines up in P3, then it's Bonacorsi, who's probably got a good shot actually, both the 3rd and 4th, Shirkov, Kale, and of course the rest will cycle through for you because the drivers just got 1 minute to grid up for this race. Temperature's still cold and it's still very foggy as well. I thought it might clear up a little bit, but it is still, it looks rubbish. I mean, I can only apologise, but iRacing fog does look a bit naff. But yeah, it's probably the dullest, probably the worst looking broadcast we'll have on a very old scan in very foggy conditions.
Do we know the percentage chance of rain? I'd love it to rain halfway through.
It would be cool. But yeah, we'll see if anything happens. No chance of rain apparently. So that's what Tom Mayle wants. Can he get himself a race victory tonight?
Can he get the launch?
Away we go. It's a good start for the man in P3, Mergia, who could have a shot. The top 3 sprinting away from the rest, but it seems actually pretty even for all of them. Mayle does the wise thing, covering off the inside. There's going to be a change potentially for P2 because Mergia is getting underneath Harhov, and he's immediately got past Harhov just as he did in race 2 as well. Great start for Moon. He's got past both Kale and Harris.
Yeah.
There has been a collision. Some drives off on the inside. That's Valzulchuk. Also Fowler being involved as well. Backmeyer, I think, may have had some issues as they tried to rejoin. They're creating curves, and maybe there was a bad rejoin because I'm seeing more smoke through the old hairpin.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a valid rejoin. I'm pretty sure iRacing's going to pop up a flag for you to let you know. That's like a, I forget the penalty is, like a minute stop and go.
Ooh, someone's had a huge crash. It might be Walsh. And look at the hop. And now contact. Oh, it looked like he was going to get through Zuko. And how's no one else got involved in that?
Yeah, I can't believe he turned towards the track, to be honest. Yeah. I cannot believe he turned towards the track. He went 35 foot in the up in the air.
Yeah, the car probably would have survived absolutely fine if it was just for that. But yeah, it was then the rejoin. Tom Mayle.
Oh.
Has he gone back to the pits? What's happened to Tom Mayle? He has. Did he jump the start?
No, it didn't look like a... I mean, if you move forward a millimetre, then correct it, it's a drive-through, so...
Wow.
Yeah.
Well...
I can't think what else it could be. What else could you get a drive-through for on lap 1? Yeah,
I mean, he didn't pick up any slowdowns or anything. He was on the black stuff the whole way round, so he's pretty much at the back now. What a shocking start for Mayle. It means that Mergia has found himself at the front of the order.
Unbelievable. Yeah, very surprised.
And Harris has got past Sikorsky as well, just in the background. There he goes, and I think Neve might try to get past Sikorsky as well. Has to just filter back into line, though.
Okay, I'm just scanning up and down. Yeah, Tom Mayle down 26. Oh, Aiden. Aiden is dropping. As
he's only dropped down to 12th, though, so maybe a half spin for him. Might lose another place here for Kalaudis. He's done well as Kalaudis to gain as many places as he has done throughout the evening. Haven't talked too much about the Greek.
Stephen Hurd up to 9th there. Gained 2 positions in as many corners.
Oost is going to gain a couple places. And Bonacorsi has moved up into 2nd place. There's lots of changes going on in the opening part of this race. There's battle going on as well. Oost losing out to Kale. So Kale at least resisting that overtake. And here's Mayle.
Yeah, he's left himself with so much to do.
I was going to say, at least it's not the longest pit lane here, but we're going at British circuits, which tend to have about 6 pit stalls in total. So actually, this is a fairly average one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a shame for Tom. I mean, maybe Tom, if he should have probably done 3 laps, try and build some semblance of a gap, and the field opens up a bit more due to incidents, and then But you're hardly thinking like that when your frustration levels are 1,000 because...
Oh, that's very risky. Very, very risky. I think that was Caloudis trying to get underneath, but there was never any space. Oh, don't make this through, right? He's just going to get one of them.
Bonk.
And across the curb, that could be a slowdown. Caloudis making the track a street circuit.
Nicely done.
I don't know, I mean, one went too far to the inside, one went too far to the outside. I don't know if either is a slowdown. I think it might be a slowdown for Oost.
Yeah, it's... Oh!
Wow.
Big hit on the curb there. Usually the guy on the inside. Usually the outside, you don't have a slowdown out there. But on the inside cuts, of course, yeah, you're cutting the course, essentially.
So Moon is up into 3rd place now. Harhov keeps losing places, but I think now he's got the 4 fastest drivers ahead of him, Harhov. So he'll try to hold on from there.
Senna in a battle at the moment. Oh, Senna and Race, and I looks like I've cursed it. Something has gone very wrong. Yes, I've cursed it. Sorry to mention your name. Oh, that's the long way round.
Well, you can't do a... Usually we'd say, oh, turn off the traction control. It's not going to do anything good in a front-wheel drive car.
Fair. Right, let's see what happened to Senna. As I called out his name, it was going to be a close battle. I saw them... What's going to happen here? Oh, yeah, I mean, Senna was tracking out, right?
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, he was so off balance when the contact made that it didn't take a whole lot for him to lose control of the car.
Yeah, this has not been Senna's day.
Got a lot of catching up to do. Here is Chosanets. And he's marginally ahead of Kramer and Clodis. He's now got Teichmann underneath him. And
But Gonzaga's dropping. Jorg's Gonzaga is dropping. Yeah, still dropping.
oh, as Teichmann barely had part of his car alongside, he's the one who's really lost out from that perhaps overly ambitious move, and now he's lost out again. And I think, frankly, I think both of them were probably his fault. I know there was a dive to the inside, but I think that was fair, and Teichmann ends up in the wall.
Yeah. He was an absolute menace there and paid the price, unfortunately.
Uzi down to 90. Well, actually, he's up to 90 places. He's up 14 places from his race start. So terrific work from him. By the way,
this is what happened to Russ Fowler at the start. Let's see. It's around the outside. It was a dangerous place to put yourself. And
oh man, such a small tap as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they were lucky that only 2 of them went across.
So,
but then it was the rejoin. And was it Fowler's rejoin which was the issue?
Oh,
no, it's further. Oh, so yeah. So Russ is back to the pits now.
Yeah, because he's serving a massive penalty. Like, there is a penalty that you don't often see. Yeah, you cannot rejoin there.
Well, we did see in GT3 Trophy, we saw Mishko, remember, cut across that, and he got away with it.
Ain't no way. I remember when it used to be a DQ. Like,
yeah,
like if you remember Daytona,
yeah,
if you get knocked, if you end up the other side of the track, bam, you're just gone. But they changed it to a huge penalty. It's huge. It's a stop and go with a big number.
So the top 5 are now on top of one another. Here they are. Here's the situation. Mergia ahead of Bonacorsi. Now these 2 are not teammates, but Mergia and Moon are teammates, 1st and 3rd.
Yeah.
So can they do a pincer movement and try to help each other? Of course, if they manage to get into the lead, they are going to be completely unbeatable. Like, once you get 2 teammates out in the front at this level, it's almost impossible to do anything about it. So Bonacorsi's best chance at finishing in the top 2, frankly, is to overtake Mergia. That's his only chance.
Yes, indeed. And I think even with the penalty from race 1, Moon's looking pretty solid so far in this season. And just his overall ability as well. If he practices not going out when the AMs are meant to go out, he's going to be fire for the season.
Moon is so close to Bonacorsi. We were talking about earlier on how Bonacorsi and Harris were struggling to get past Moon, but Moon is trying to demonstrate to us now that overtaking is possible at this circuit.
Yes, indeed. I want to say the race has quieted down, but I know once I say that, the screen's going to light up.
There's a big battle for 22nd place. It's very tricky to know what to look at, but yeah, there's a big queue of cars. Travel wide as well in the background there.
Yeah, it's the biggest train on the track for sure.
Yeah, they're all behind Callum Baymont.
And Tom Mau's in it, so you know he's going to be wanting to send a few positions. Oh, and Neves had an issue.
Yes, yeah, Sikorsky. I think that's just a legit move for Sikorsky.
Wow, what a strong race.
He's on far off the lead. 3 seconds off. And he missed out on reverse good pole.
Toth is dropping. Well, no, there was something with Backmeyer and Toth and Coombe, yes. Or is Coombe blinking? I don't know.
Oh, change the leads. Bonacorsi, I think, has got past Mergia. Contact between the two of them. And here comes Moon. He's going to try to take advantage of it. But there was a move across. And it is now a 1-2 for the teammates. And Bonacorsi, who was on course for a huge points haul, has seen them leak away right there.
I wonder if it was a move or if he picked up a tap in his fender that, you know, pulled him across as Moon gets the lead. So, yeah, we're trying to get a replay. But, yeah, I don't... It seemed crazy that he would turn over like that. But, yeah, because, you know, if you pick up a tap in your rear right, it might have, you know, brought his car over and looked like a swipe, but...
Yeah, a nasty incident there. Mergia has been able to hold on against Harris, so that is bad news for Harris because Moon is going to be sprinting away now from these drivers, and it could be 3 wins for Moon. That race 1 victory is almost certainly going to be taken away from him due to qualifying infringements. But race 2 and race 3 will stand.
Let's not forget, Sikorsky is set for a... As long as he didn't break the rule, and I don't think he... No, he didn't. No, he did. He did.
So tricky to tell, isn't it?
No, he didn't. He could be looking at... Right, so this is what caused it all.
So it was the initial move, was very ambitious into McLean's.
Oi, yep. But he left him room.
And then here comes Moon, and he's going to try to get underneath the pair of them.
It looks like... Oh.
Not many drivers hit that back.
I mean, it looked like he turned to cover it off, and there wasn't room to cover it off, and he made contact with Moon and died. But obviously, that's stewards to analyse properly with their different camera angles.
Yeah, for sure, that one's going to get protested. And yeah, good news for Moon and Harris, who are going to be miles ahead of the rest in the championship. Again, we don't know exactly how the penalties are going to sort out, but looking good for both of them. So Harris has got to keep his head here. There's no point in getting involved in a collision with Mergia in the ambition of maybe winning this race. It's just about making sure that he's maximising the result with that 2nd or 3rd.
Harris is looking fast, though.
And Neve has got... Oh, Neve and Sikorsky are passing against each other again. So maybe Mergia is just holding Harris back for his teammate. I think it might be, could well be the case. But yeah, I'm not sure how much assistance Moon needs after his
yeah, that's the thing that would confuse me the most by that, would be he doesn't need help. Harris has been 2nd in 2 races and finished behind him, so...
Because Harhoff, who's been quite patient so far, Harhoff, he hasn't really been pushing it too much against these pro drivers. Will he start to force the issue and wants to try to get an overall podium and also to try to keep ahead of Shurkov, who is catching these guys hand over fist?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm not sure how the rules would interpret holding someone up like that. If it's blocking, it's blocking. You know, it's clear cut. But yeah, not sure. Hard to see, because we might just cut to cameras after, you know, post mistake and, you know, overheat his tyres. It's hard, like, in the moment.
Alan Luther's just letting us know that apparently everything in the officials has just crashed on iRacing.
I will check.
So we are the only server seemingly still running.
I will check how things are looking.
Yeah, iRacing is down at the moment. So frankly, it's a miracle that
There was an issue between...
Okay, but it's all right now.
Yeah, 8:35 and 8:45, so a while ago, but yeah. Yeah, a few of their race servers.
Oh, here comes the move from Harris. And it wasn't quite there, but it was a good effort, and that's the type of move that he's going to have to do in order to get this overtake done. Mergio, very patient, didn't panic, just made sure he kept his racing line and was able to cut back underneath.
Yep, just checking. They did have an issue, yeah, for sure. Alan's right. Does seem to be resolved. There was a few blips since then, but it's holding green at the moment.
Well, if the results aren't saved, I'm going to be really upset because I'm going to have to manually
watch this race back. And
yeah, and then add one driver after the other.
The timing disappeared for a split second there.
I think we're just refreshing it. So Harris, yeah, still very close to the back of Mergia, trying to break the draft on the back straight. Zuko's just got past Hedgecock, by the way. Got some huge gainers in this race. Up 16 places. Ivanov, he's recently got past Oost, so well done to him. But many others as well. Getting a lot of place. Tom Mail still making his way up through the order. Here is Harris getting his nose ahead. Outside this time. He gets early on the power on exit. But this, well, of course now they're going to be alongside. And Mergy is going to have to be careful to make sure that he leaves enough space through the crane curse. He has done. Oh, and then he comes across. And Harris goes off the track. Fortunately, he's able to keep it out of the barrier. But I think that was all on Mergia, who just swung as though he was just taking his normal racing line.
Yeah, we'll take a look at a replay of that if we can. Yeah, hopefully this all goes well. iRacing is in maintenance mode. I see it on the website.
Sure.
So fingers crossed they let our server play out.
Well, yeah, hopefully we do.
Right, so look at this.
So Mergia left so much space here, and then he left no space here.
Well, he moved across. He left space, but yeah, just be whether it's deemed he drove into him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a penalty, I think, for Mergia. Probably a 5-second, which would put him a fair few places back. So Harhov now needs to be sensible. He's seen that, and he probably knows that a penalty is coming the Italians' way, and now needs to make sure that he doesn't get a penalty himself and doesn't get involved in any instance with the Mag Performance driver. But they're still very close to one another. Meanwhile, Jesse Oost is coming to the pits. Now the drivers are limited to 20 incidents, and Oost may have exceeded that. It's just a drive-through, and with all these British circuits, they're not too bad. I mean, Alton Park's very short. This place is very short. I think Duxton's not too bad. Of course, we might have Croft later on in the season, if it gets delivered in iRacing Season 3. Otherwise, we will go to Spa, because Spa's a great track, so we're not going to turn down the opportunity to go to Spa.
Yeah, I'm not sure on Croft. It's been mentioned and promised a few times, but then they just
It is
go
scanned,
quiet.
like they are working on it.
Yeah, but the
they...
Audi GT3 was scanned like 4 or 5
Sure.
years before it came out.
But yeah, it would be awesome to have Croft. Of course, there was the temptation. Well, I say there was the temptation. There was a moment of thought to potentially have Cadwell, and then because that is the other British circuit. But of course, that is an awful circuit and would be absolute mayhem in these cars. You could barely fit 2 of these cars alongside around Cadwell, so opted out of that one. Here is Nuzini trying to stay ahead of Baymont. Baymont's up 20 places. Nuzanai, he's up 15. Ukrainian staying ahead. And the driver behind them, I feel like, is a lap down, because that's not Tom Mail behind them. The driver behind them, I think, is Vasilchuk. So he is not racing for position. He is 5 laps down. Now, I think if you're 5 laps down, you still score points. So him and Walsh, Neg and Fowler will still score points. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
It might be curtains, guys. That might be it. Well, they managed to get pretty far. And I think the only... Well, yeah, I don't know. decisions will have to be made about what the result is, but I think it will just be whatever the standings were before they cut out.
Yeah, I was keeping a close eye on it. There's no precedent on this because everything's up. But yeah, a lot of their race servers crashed. Then they came back up again. And then the API services and back end went down, were sporadic. It came up again, but then obviously iRacing took the decision, even though it was working, to take it down to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
So we were on borrowed time for a few laps there. I was just hoping.
Like, okay, there's only 5 minutes left. Come on, we can make it. We were 2 minutes short.
Yeah, shame. Yeah, no, I was trying to keep an eye on it, but yeah, iRacing is officially down.
Yeah. So I think this is the. I mean, I've done a lot of broadcasts on Apex Racing 2. I've probably done over 1,000. And this is the first time I think that I can remember this happening pretty crazily. But I'm glad that it happened then. If it happened 10 minutes into race 1, then that'd be a headache. But it happened right at the end of race 3. I don't think we have any results to show you. I think that's just going to be it. So we'll probably still be able to get some interviews with drivers, however. But before we get any interviews, I mean, looking ahead to the next round of the championship is going to be one of the toughest rounds. Brands Hatch Indy.
Oh, you ruined it. I heard Brands Hatch and was like, TCR's at Brands Hatch. That's a lot of cars for Indy.
There wasn't... So again, we'll try to replicate as much as we can from BTCC this season.
Yeah.
Second round of BTCC is Brands Hatch Indy. Everyone knows the season finale is always on the Grand Prix circuit. But the Indy circuit hosts round 2, so... Gonna be very close times.
Depends on the weather as well.
So tricky to overtake.
Yep.
So tricky. So yeah, that's going to be...
It will be good though. There's still overtaking opportunities. It's just that Indy layout. The inside line is going to be gold, right? Because it's a long way for a TCR to travel around the longer path, you know. Even if you get... No, there is no... You lose... It's going to be tricky.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we will see how the drivers get on with that. I think we're going to try to get a chat, though, with one or two of our drivers to see how their evenings went. First up, we'll drag up Scott Malcolm to have a chat with us. Scott, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Excellent stuff. So I was just thinking, I've done over like 1,000 broadcasts for Apex Racing TV. I can't remember this happening. You've done probably almost as many as I have. Have you been in this situation before with the server crashing at the end?
Not when I've been having such good results. I think it happens all the time. You just need to put a bit more money in that meter.
Yeah. I mean,
need to set up a
unfortunately,
GoFund page for you.
yeah, it's an unlucky one. I think it was a whole, in case you don't know, it was a whole iRacing thing. So apparently everything on iRacing went down about 10 minutes before we went down. And then we were sort of waiting for it to happen. And in the end, we were a couple minutes short. But you were having a good run out there. Of course, you've had so much experience in this series and then the predecessor, BSR-TC. I mean, when you compare yourself to a lot of these drivers who've just joined the sim a couple of months ago, do you think that's a big advantage, the fact that you've done this format and in these cars before?
No. You just got to see the quality of guys that's out there. Doesn't matter if you've been on the service 20 years, if you've been on the service 2 years, the guys are still going to be faster than you, you know? It doesn't matter, just because I've got all that experience, I'm not going to be one of the fast guys. I never will be, I never will, I never was. But it's just life.
Definitely. Well, it was still looking pretty good for you. Race 1, I think we saw you gain a lot of places. Race 2, you gained a couple more. So am I right in saying top 20 results in all 3 races?
Thanks. So, yeah. I'll be able to maybe go and say it was top 15, maybe. Don't know. I don't know. I was having that much fun. I wasn't caring where I finished.
Well, that's very, very good to hear. And how is it driving these TCR cars? I mean, obviously it's been 3 years since we held another one of these series, but have you been able to drive these TCR cars a whole lot recently?
Oh yeah, I drive them all the time. It's the only car I'm more or less driving the service. So yeah, I love it. I love the close racing it brings, and you know, you can have a wee bit of door banging every now and again, and you're not going to go flying off into the sky or into the wall. Yeah, it's the kind of racing I like. A lot of really close bumper to bumper stuff.
Yeah, it was really, really good to watch. Well, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Scott, before we say goodbye?
Well, I've good enough to say a shout out to Lumen Motorsports. We're a new team that's just got together. So yeah, looking for big things to happen with them. Also one of our main sponsors, Coach Dave. And obviously Apex Racing for putting on this series, which has been long overdue.
Awesome. Well, thank you for signing up, Scott, and being such a loyal person in the series. And we wish you the best of luck for round 2.
Yeah, cheers, Sam.
Scott Malcolm, the legend of Apex Racing TV. We've got a few more drivers wanting to have an interview. Who would you like to drag up?
I'm gonna. Well, I've said his name 30 times already, so I'm gonna talk to Sikorsky. Mikhail Sikorsky, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, obviously apologies for the race ending abruptly. iRacing decided to go down during the 3rd race there. But as far as I have it, I have no idea on the rules and how it works with a race that disconnects. But I had you winning race 1, 2, and 3 in AM. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that would be the case. As I'm concerned, I would also win the 3rd one, but unfortunately, those are the things that just happened in sim racing.
Yeah, and talk me through the battle at the end of race 2 with Tom Mao, because obviously you're fighting over that illustrious P8 position that gets you pole into race 3. It looked like a tough area. Talk me through it, how it went for you. Yeah, I assume you knew it was coming. Tom's not slow.
I mean, everything went fine just until the last lap really. I went a bit too deep. I cut too much of an inside of penultimate corner. I got a slowdown penalty. We went side by side into the chicane, and there was a slight contact at my rear, which made me go off the track a little, and I just had to concede the place, and unfortunately end up in the 9th position, which I have to say made me a little furious, as I really wanted to start in a reverse pole position. Yeah,
for sure. But obviously you must be chuffed. Your pace, I mean, your I rating to your pace level looks impressive. Is TCR's car you normally drive?
Not really. It's the first time I'm driving the TCRs. But I have a lot of fun in them. The championship is certainly something I'm looking forward into, and just can't wait to get another opportunity to race with the guys, as there was some fair racing today.
That's great to hear. Well, again, congratulations on as I have it, I'd say the stewards and everyone need to go through everything because it's a little unprecedented situation, but I have you down winning AM in all 3. So yeah, congratulations. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thank you. Big thanks to my team manager, Louis Heskett, because he pointed out this championship. And I have to say, the touring cars was something I was looking into for a long time, but I never really found a championship for it, and now I'm having a great fun and can't wait to have another go in a couple of days' time.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you race and hopefully having you back for another interview. Again, congratulations, and yeah, we'll catch you next round.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Cheers. Yeah, solid. Solid.
Yeah, really good debut.
I mean, I didn't want to call winner in race 3. I don't know how it works, but he led every lap. He's bound to have secured it.
Yeah, lots of bonus points as well coming his way. So yeah, really fantastic evening. Let's next have a chat with Damien House, because Damien managed to score a lot of points tonight. Damien, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back to the series, and I think generally today you must feel pretty happy with how it went. Of course, you had that bit of a setback in race 3, but for race 1 and race 2 in particular, very good podium results.
Yeah, they're great results. I mean, it's a very long championship. I mean, I'm long in the tooth now. I know it's a long championship, and we just pick up points where we can. So I didn't want to involve myself in too many issues tonight. Just get some solid points on the board. Jung Soo-min had a great event. He had a good pace tonight. It's not my favourite track, and I'm not going to die, but you know, it was a good result. Had a great fight at the front, and then race 3 there got nerfed off a bit to the side, but you know, it happens. It's going to happen in these events, and that's what we kind of race for, I guess.
Absolutely. Talk us through that race 1 and race 3 lap 1, because Moon started behind you in both of those races, but was able to jump ahead, and particularly that race 1, it was quite an ambitious move from him. What was it like? Do you think it was like the launch when it came to those overtakes, or was it just putting his car in the right spot? Because he seemed to really be nailing the starts today.
I think race 1 it was the launch. He got a very good start, and I think but by turn 1 he was already up. You know, he was miles in front. I think race 3 was a bit tricky because I positioned myself in the middle. I just don't want to be crashed off. You know, I'm just trying to put myself in a position where it's safe. Of course, if you're conservative, you're always going to concede if someone's trying to be a bit pushy. So the goal tonight was just pick up some solid points. And if we need to catch up some points in further rounds, I can be a bit more aggressive. I mean, that you know, experience tells. You know, that if you go too hard into lap 1, turn 1, a lot of times you're going to end up on the back foot. So I was just trying to be a bit conservative, get my sort of foot in a race, and we go from there. The problem is it's so difficult to overtake here. It's very, very difficult. So ultimately, I probably did have the pace, as you can see in race 2. I was catching Jung, but it's so tricky to overtake here. It's very, very difficult.
It really is a very tricky circuit to manage those overtakes. And looking ahead to the rest of the season, of course, are you one, pleased about it being all British circuits, and 2, out of the British circuits, which are you most looking forward to visiting?
In all honesty, there are some great British circuits, but I prefer running the longer versions. So Silverstone Grand Prix, Snetterton 300, the longer versions. The shorter tracks tend to be very much more difficult to overtake. If you get put back in a reverse grid, it's very, very tricky to work your way up. I prefer the longer circuits. There are a couple. You have got Snetterton 300. We've got Brands Grand Prix. You've got a couple. Not my most favourite tracks, but they're good tracks nonetheless. And I'm looking forward to the longer tracks, more overtaking opportunities, and it's going to be a great season. Hopefully, that's fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you've really set off on a good start tonight, Damien. Congratulations on that. Do you want to give a shout out to anyone? Yeah,
my team ADX Racing. Anyone watching who's enjoyed tonight, yourselves for putting on a great broadcast. Just thanks to the rest of the races for a good race. And I'll see you guys all in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Damien. And
thank
see you
back
next week.
Take care.
Yeah.
So Damien Harris there, probably the second or third highest scorer, I think, tonight.
Yep. Time for another interview?
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
Let's talk to Tom Mao. Hello, Tom. Can you hear me okay, mate?
Hey, David. Hi.
Nice to speak to you, mate. You're my pick for the season, Tom. Talk me through it.
Oh dear.
And my pick as well, by the way, Tom. I don't know if you felt the pressure out there, but we put all our money on you.
So I'm just trying to think back through your races. Qualifying, was that your... Actually, first of all, let's talk about qualifying. You headed out a little early.
Yeah, like the entire race for me, actually, and I'm going to use this as an excuse for everything that happened, was plagued by my wheel just deciding to stop working. Like the display, I don't know what that was doing. One of my clutch paddles has been a bit iffy recently, and that just totally failed me in race 3, which is why I got the jump start. But I was more preoccupied trying to sort my wheel. And so when I
Yeah.
saw everyone else going out on the track, I was like, oh, I should probably be out
Yeah.
there.
Gotcha, yeah.
I wasn't really thinking about the rules, and yeah, probably should have checked that.
I mean, it is what it is. I did say that at one point with Sam, because there were so many people breaking the rules that if you just sort of glance up, you think, oh, pros are out. I'm obviously meant to be out there. How was the racing after? It was a shame about your jump start. We had assumed it was a jump start when you came down pit road at the end of lap 1. But apart from, the breach in the qualifying and the jump start, how was the actual racing?
Yeah, I kind of missed TCR racing quite a bit, actually. It's been a good 3.5 years or so since I last drove a TCR. It's kind of nothing in between, and you forget how different it is to GTs and especially prototypes. Like, this is so different from an LMP2. So yeah, I mean, I'm just here to have a bit of fun, hopefully learn from some of the faster guys, a little bit of TCR racecraft. And as I was saying to a few of my teammates before the race, my goal for this season is just to win a race, to to see how I can improve my driving skills. But yeah, good racing from everyone on the whole. Massive apologies to Adam for putting him in the wall on the start finish straight. I don't know if you guys caught that, but yeah, sorry Tim.
Don't think we did. Did we catch that?
I'm not quite sure on that one.
No, you might have got lucky there. But yeah, always good to talk to you again, Tom. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate?
I mean, shout out to Brandon Blakesley for making the livery I'm running tonight in a record time. He did a really good job. I feel like I should probably shout out Adam and all the work that he does, all the photography work. That's me trying to redeem myself after unceremoniously punting him. So hopefully I'm back in his good books now.
Hopefully. All right, awesome talking to you, Tom. And yeah, hopefully next round goes better for you, and hopefully we can chat to you in the interview as well then, as well.
Yep, absolutely. Cheers, guys.
All right, cheers, mate. Later. Tom Mal there, our pick, and yeah, when we thought that you glance up, you see the pros out on track, you think, it's obviously it's still penalty coming his way, but yeah, it's tough out there. It sounds like he had quite the day of it.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, of course that race 3. Had he escaped that jump start in race 3, what could have happened? Maybe he would have romped away in the victory. But also he didn't even get the leading lap bonus, did he? So he just sucks.
Well, if he crossed the...
I think he lost so much time coming into the pits.
So he should have done 2 laps.
He should have done 2 laps. I only just thought about that.
So reading the rules has cost him not only...
Twice.
Twice.
So yeah, read the rules, guys. That will be it for us, because this broadcast is always overrun quite a bit. So apologies to those drivers who wanted interviews, who we haven't been able to have a chat with. But of course, we'll have a chat with everyone next week, of course, if we have the time. So yeah, round 1 of the championship, and I think there were a few collisions out there, but frankly I'm quite pleased with how clean it was, especially after lap 1. It seemed like the racing was really good quality, and I'm really pleased that these TCRs can race against each other, that it's not just a case of two, bouncing balls hitting one another.
Yeah, the contact model overall looked good. We still have the overlap issue. If it's small, the result is big, but I think the door-to-dooring looks good. We saw plenty of 3 wides. So yeah, looks like it's going to be an exciting season.
It should be very, very good. Well, once again, thanks to our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. Do check out apexracingac.com in order to get a subscription. Of course, next week, we are not covering this championship. Next round is in 2 weeks' time, but we are covering the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup, so do make sure to tune in on that. But there's also plenty of other racing going on Apex Racing TV, featuring many, many different cars. So subscribe to the channel, check out, the broadcasts which are coming up on the channel. We've actually got more touring car action on Monday night for the Rikmatech Touring Car Championship, return of that series. Yeah, make sure to tune in for all of that good stuff. And of course, check out the Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV social medias as well. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from David Sampson, and from everyone here at the Apex Racing TV esports studio, we will say goodbye, and we will see you back next time at Brands Hatch Indy. See you then.